So in weeks past, when we have looked at things about compassion, our exercises have been making wishes. We did an exercise where we looked at attributes of ourselves that perhaps we could reframe. We've looked at calming the body, and then last week we looked at calming the mind. But one of the key things that we want to call into as we put the concept of compassion in place is the power of the heart. In fact, many people would call it the superpower of actually practicing compassion. So I meant to be starting on that screen here, but here is just a little bit of why we're doing it and what exactly we're going to do today. So this is somewhat scientific, but it's also just a very interesting concept about how the heart, the emotional system, actually has a very vivid conversation with the brain. It's through a highway called the vagus nerve, but there is great research showing that the emotions that you choose to have can change the way you think. And so that is what we're going to work on a little bit today. And in particular, what we're working on is a technique called loving kindness meditation. And a lot of people do it, and I'll show you the common format for it, but I'm just going to quickly skip through a little bit of why we do it. And as with the other things that we've looked at here, there is huge scientific evidence that is just incredibly beneficial for us both physically and emotionally, spiritually. So before we get into exactly how to do it, there is a bit of a superpower that I feel is really important. And so again, with your paper and pencil ready, obviously we're going to strive to have a relaxed body and a quieted mind. If you want to take a moment with your mantra, please do. But this step 3, as we bring attention to our hearts, so a lot of people will like to practice this by putting yourself in a place or recalling a fond memory. What I have found to be the most powerful way to do this part of the compassion exercise, I call it assembling the super team. Now, if you remember in week 1, where we looked at attributes of ourselves, but then we said, how would somebody who really loves and knows you reframe that? So for this exercise, I'm going to ask you to list 3 people who get you, who really recognize you, who know you, and just are delighted by you. And what I want you to do in this exercise is name 3 different kind of people. So one, you've probably got a family member that just immediately jumped to your mind. So that's important that we have one of those. Another thing, because we're talking about work, you've probably had someone in your past, some boss or colleague who immediately got you and you worked beautifully with, and it was just being in the flow all the time. And then, if you can, I'm going to ask you to bring to mind someone that maybe you don't know really well, but that you've just immediately gotten good vibes from. So again, family member, somebody knows you, loves you, workmate knows you, loves you. And then option 3, either choose someone that you just for whatever reason get a good vibe from, or option 3, this is also where I will invite you, if you have a spiritual practice, make sure that you put that on your super team. Now, why this is important is we're going to ask you to do a lot of things, but if you've ever heard the concept, you've got to put on your own air mask first. I have found this super team assembling to be a very, very important part of being able to do the loving kindness meditation with effectiveness. So I am hoping that everyone has been able to think of appropriate people. And if you don't have any, just drop me some notes over there in the chat, and I can share some people in the EM team that are pretty good at all those things. So with that being said in mind, before we get started with step 1, we're going to do a little bit of a practice with the super team. So let your body relax down into your seat. Let your mind focus and take just a few of whatever your mantra is. And then I like to do this from left to center to right, but you can just keep still. As you turn your head to the left, bring to mind that first person, that family member, or that dear, dear loved one who gets you and knows you. And visualize them smiling at you them nodding at you. Maybe if they have an adjective or something that they want to give you right now, are you ready to accept that? Maybe they have a hug for you, maybe not. As you turn to the center, this is where you've summoned back a coworker, someone who knows that work part of you, who gets why you are brilliant, why you are a rock star. And odds are you've probably made their life better with your gifts. So right now they are here to remind you just how great you are, how great they can see you. So take that in. And then as you look to the right, it can be somebody new that is ready to give you new, fresh, novel sparkles, or it can be your spiritual connection, your dear, dear, deep heart's true north. So be ready to take that in and know that you are loved, that you are perfect, and that all is well. So, as we end today's class, I'm going to ask you to take that list and see if we can expand upon it. But since we have just done the exercise of filling ourselves, now we're going to go into the standard steps of the loving kindness meditation, where we say these phrases, but you will pick people that you want to send these to. So I kind of do that in the same order with my daily practice. As I look to the left, I pick a family member that I want to send loving kindness to. And it is as simple as this. You picture their face and you say these phrases in your head. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live in peace. As you turn center, pick someone that you work with. It can be somebody that is easy to give love to. It can be someone challenging. But as you picture their face, send these 3 thoughts. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live in peace. And then with this last one, you can pick that person that you don't know, but you want to send kindness to. Or this is where I either use the we phrase or the pronoun or the I pronoun. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I live in peace. And then with more time, the loving kindness to loved ones, to people we know, I find that the most impactful. If it was a longer session, and Dr. Emma Seppala likes to send loving kindness to neutral people, which is our way of becoming more compassionate, more loving. And then I just like to end my practice, which we'll do right now, where we will picture all living things and send these wishes. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we live in peace. So that was our exercise for today. I will drop a few resources into the chat for people who want to go longer, do more. Again, Dr. Seppala's 15-minute one is quite good. So she's going in the chat right now. The other resource that I found this morning that I just think is wonderful for those of us who like exercises, this is a group called Greater Good in Action. And so they have a lot of good practices here, but here is a very, very lovely extended loving kindness meditation. So there we go. I am going to stop the share on my screen. And for anybody who wants to stick around and do a longer practice, I am at your service. For anybody who's got any questions, I am here for you.